Hi everyone, this is Evelyn. I have the 7-deck read on the table for you guys today, as well as a message of the day. And I'm going to roll the die as well. Some very cool messages came through in the message of the day. I actually had a really lovely day today. I had a baby shower to go to, and on the way up there, which by the way involved 309, because I brought that up the last time I think I did my video. But on the way up I was at a stoplight, and I told you about 2 green flies that landed literally joined at the hip on my door handle when I went to the front door yesterday, the day before. And then today on my way up to the party, literally, they weren't dragonflies, but maybe cicadas, literally flew across this highway, like almost highway area, across my windshield. Again, like they were joined at the hip. They were 2 bugs together, literally flying across the whole street together. It was the weirdest thing, because I've never seen that before. And that's the second time in a couple days I saw 2 bugs like joined, literally flying and landing together. It was the weirdest thing, but really cool. So let's take a few deep breaths, and then we're going to roll the die and get right into these messages here. Take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending so much love to all of you out there. Thank you for joining me and spending your time with me. I hope you're having an amazing day. It's beautiful and sunny out here today. I'm going to show you the picture of the first message of the day. I used 3 different decks for this message this time. So I started there with the Metatron deck with the underlying energies on the left, the Metatron deck up top here, and this is a pile of cards I had to count. Same thing with each deck. This is Nature Whispers across, and then the pile I had to count. And then this was the Shaman Dreams, the cards that came out organically, and then the pile I had to count there at the end. Let me see if I can just bring it up closer so you can get a better picture of the cards. Okay, Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and the Shaman Dreams. And then I'm just going to show you the 7-deck read on the table too, just so I've shown you the 7-deck read here. It's on the table. And we'll get going here. All right, so the die for the twins. Today is the 10th of July, 2022. And so the day adds up to 22, which is the Fool and the Fool's Journey. And the 9, this was yesterday's, was the 9 of the Hermit and the 22 of the Fool's Journey. Today is the 10th, which is the Wheel of Fortune, and then the 23 of the King of Wands. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Wands today, which is funny too. I was taking some video of my older brother with his 2 little grandchildren, the 2 little boys who just love, they like hang from his arms like little monkeys and stuff. They were having so much fun with him today. So the Man of Passion, and he is a fire sign, by the way. So for the twin flames here, July 10th, 2022. All right, we have Venus. So maybe some Taurus and Libra energies coming up of love. Anyway, there's definitely lots of love here today. The 9 of the Hermit, which is the going within, but it's also the 9 of the endings in the collective, the all as well. Going within to connect with the all, the 9, and the collective consciousness, as well as lots of compassion being shown there with Venus as well. And then the Aries energy, so very headstrong here, that very aggressive energy of the beginning of Aries. Perhaps a little bit of ramminess there. So again, Libra, Taurus, Virgo, and Aries. So we have that axis of Libra and Aries going on today. And let's get into this read. Just trying to remember if there was anything else I wanted to tell you about the energies that were coming up. Okay, let's see what comes up as I go into this. So the message of the day read I did at 11 a.m., 11:01 actually. So the 11 of Justice, the 1 of the Magician. Actually, the 1 to the 4. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 shut the door, but which is the Magician, the High Priestess, and then the Emperor and the Empress. So couples and aligning with that. So as soon as I wrote down Metatron, the Nature deck, and the Shaman deck, which are the 3 decks I used, I was getting 3 keys. The energy of that Metatron, which is that magnetic key of the universe, basically, the nature key of Mother Earth, and then the energy of the shaman, the indigenous, have been coming up very much so this week. The 3K of the 3 keys, but I was also getting the 2 keys as well, and then 2 keys were coming up. So 2 key I looked up is a whale shark, and also means to quiz. And the whale shark can be energy of wise and aggressive at the same time. It also comes up as manure, support, crutch, prop, strut, allowance, dole, benefit, to discuss, clock, and watch. Tukia also came up in similar definitions, to collaborate as well. And then Tukia with Tukkia was to block or obstruct. But then a weird Tuki came up, and I can't describe the accents because I don't know what they're called. It was Tuki still, but it had accents by the U, and then like a question mark accent over the I, which means self, autistic, introverted, or to act like an introvert. And then Tuki also came up with a Y, which one of the definitions was very significant, was Sumerian, which means to marry, to play music, to possess. So there's that resonance energy of the Sumerians. So very significant of Tuky of 2 keys, or 2 key. So 2 keys and 3 keys were coming up. And also Ki. My mom used to call my sister Kiki Wump, so I was looking up Ki as well. And Ki came up, which means giggling, and laughing was coming up this week as well. So that was significant. The Tuk also came up as one of the definitions of Tuky, Tuk with the 2 dots over the U, which means hair or feather. And when I put in the number T, Tuo, and then K, it had no definition, but 2 of a kind came up as well as 2 knights, defense. And the knight was coming up as a knight with a sword. Also the Tuk, Tuque, came up as a watch cap or knit cap in French, or I was getting a cover-up. And also cake came up again today too, during the party, of course, because there's cake. But the band cake came up in Going the Distance. Yeah, Kiki and with Q's is earring, and then Kiki with 2 K's is the gathering of friends to chat and gossip with no agenda or goal. It can also be a lesbian, it comes up, but not butch or femme, somewhere in between. It also comes up as croton. And the vagina comes up with Kiki as well, K-I-K-I, as well as the throat and the penis. There's a lot of sexual energy that comes up here. To look to the side, oneself, same, or being as equal, identical, to scale and to bite. So very interesting energies coming up around the key, 2 keys or 3 keys, or even 4 keys with K-Y, which is giggling. And the soft cackle, so the crow type of energy was coming up, as well as, again, significantly with that friends gathering. When the friends gather together, there's no agenda there, as opposed to like a business coming together. It's all where everyone's on the same page, everyone's equal. And the energy of the 3K, when you mush it together, looks like that less than or equal than energy of being greater than the 3, but less than the E. So all sorts of weird things were coming up around that symbolism. F4 was coming up regarding that, as well as D4, or Ford. Maybe Ford cars are coming up right now. And it was interesting too, because I watched on David Letterman on what's his name? I don't know if I have his name written down, but a race car driver came up that he interviewed. And so F4 was coming up as Formula 4 regarding race cars, but it was coming up as the fourth level of single seat open wheel. I think it's right. I wrote FIA, a single seat open wheel, open cockpit Formula racing ladder, refers to performance level below the Formula 1 or F1. And then D4 also came up, which references a die with 4 sides. So in other words, like a 3-sided pyramid with a bottom. And then 4F came up as well, which is military draft E, that's rejected because they were unfit physically or didn't pass, I guess. And literally 4D came up, which we're dealing with that energy very much right now. 3K comes up as slang for a 3D job that's hard, long hours, and doesn't pay well. Demanding, dirty, and dangerous were also coming up. And K3 comes up as life force or Ka. Goodwill, personality, essence, food, sustenance. Will say, bull. The bull also came up. Also the bull as the sacrificial bull. And K3 was coming up as bush or shrub. Okay, so from the Metatron deck, why did I write EO? The Emerald Order was very significant coming up in this read. So 1153 is Justice, and the 53, which is the Knight of Swords. And 11 is also Justice is Libra. So that Knight of Swords could be a Libra energy, but it's about the messenger of truth, the knight in shining armor, coming in with that truth in a harsh kind of way sometimes, but aligning with that at the same time. The 10 of the New Dawn was coming up with the authentic self, which is 46 of the inner children or outer children loving each other. And then the bottom of the deck here was the 33 of the dimensional gateway in that Christ or unity consciousness, which again is not about religion, it's about that unification of all people. The sun, as in the sun in the sky, and then the sun as in the Father and Son. The sun is a gateway, and then the sun in the sky was coming up as the vagina was coming up, the Christ golden gate and God's grace. So it's comparing the sun and the sun in the sky, and the sun as a child or as Jesus is a gateway. The gateways of the sun, right? So the sun gateway is the Father, whereas the rays come up as the son, the child, and then the vagina is the other gate of the feminine, right? Because that's where she gives birth from. And the Christ golden gate, God's grace here. The high vibe new dawn of the inner child or children and their authentic selves in the 4D gateway of the rainbow bridge to the 5D freedom to explore all other dimensions within a 4th density to 5th density, leaving prison planet behind. Christ is the gatekeeper of the sun, as you are the gatekeeper of your portal. At 1203, which is the hanging man and the earth, basically, that's Christ energy and the mother of earth. The Knight of Cups is coming up, but also with the energetic gold, right, of the Christ energy. The Knight of Cups is coming up as green, emerald order, and heart healing and being love. The fire dragon strength of the sun, and the 3-sided, or 4 sides altogether, with that 3-sided pyramid I told you about. A roll of the die was coming up as water parsley or water parsnip. And some suave was also coming up as Sion, S-I-O-N, and in ancient Greek, Mount Zion in Hebrew, anything something, and Sion is the Hebrew name for John as well, or Johann, those different names. And then Sion, S-C-I-O-N, is the sprout, to split open, the germ or germinating. The descendant, the first generation of the distinguished family is the scion, the heir to a throne, the guardians, the shoot, the twig, the buds, or used in grafting, the tip of the fishing rod as well. And there's that fish, right? which is that reference back to Jesus again. And I've talked a lot about the trunk of the tree and the offshoots of the trunk of the tree this week. And here's the Emerald Order coming up as that first generation from God, the distinguished family, the heir to the throne, the guardians, the shoot, the twig, the buds, etc. So I was guided to break down Emerald, which again the E comes up of energy, which is also the lowercase e is like the egg cracked open. The MER, M-E-R, is the sea, and ALD is the wave. So the energetic wave of the sea. But ALD also means old and offspring, progeny, generation, age, and lifetime. So the E of the energy, but remember the capital E also means one is equal and congruent to. The sea wave. One is equal and congruent to the offspring, the progeny, the generation, age, and lifetime. The order, or order is broken down into or and der, which is der, obvious, or last. One, that which, he, him, the one, him, that her, there, die, outdoors, there, to you, right there, at the end of the journey. Where? Farther, or father, perhaps in Irish, that place in the vicinity of skin. And those were literally all the definitions in the order they were listed. So it was pretty funny the way it was coming out. So that place in the vicinity of the skin, which is you inside your skin. The skin also comes up as the SKN or SKI of the sky, in capital N for me is Christ. So the sky of Christ. The SK of the skip, to wipe, or the scythe. The ancient region of the E in the Iranian plateau. Slavic energies were coming up there as well. And the synclepton, which is a klepton, is something that needs input from another taxon closely related to complete its reproductive cycle. So in other words, like the example is the picture of a frog who can't complete its reproductive cycle without infusing another breed of frog that's close to their breed but different. So that was coming up with specifically an article that came up, Pelophylax synclepton hispanicus from Bonaparte 1839 from academia.edu on the branches of a tree, a description of an unusual behavior. So doing a research study about these frogs that did something that was very out of character for them, feeding on olive branches that were 170 centimeters above the ground. And this was in Tuscany. And again, it was starting from a vegetable garden with a fig tree and an olive tree nearby. And they categorized the one type of frog as an edible type of frog behaving like another species. Or the whole point of this is that their hybridization here, just like we all are, the Emerald Order now, that was not a hybrid at the beginning, at the end of the journey of the farther gate, or remember that card from the Father Gate from the Shaman Dreams deck is the double gate and the double sun. The farther gate is in your skin. So basically being in your skin. The Emerald Order at the end of our journey now of the farther gate, that double gate and double sun, right? Because you have double gate, the vaginal canals, the birthing energy, and then also your throat chakra of speaking your truth, and the double sun of the sun in the sky, and then the sun of that Christ energy. The hybrid in, the sky of Christ, to skip in, to wipe in, to be one that requires hybridization to expand to higher ground, or in other words, leapfrog. At 12:36, and Spirit's connecting with me, the 12:36 of the Hanging Man and 36 of the Atlas energy and that weight of the world, of the Emerald and the Dragon, the Knight of Cups and the Sun, the love of the 6, which is that spiral of the aqua rose gold heart, and the twin flame karma, as double diamonds in the sky overlapped to untie the knots of the electromagnetic grid, regarding the strong force, which came up in the last read. The strong force, the weak force, the electromagnetic force, and the gravity force, which was coming up about CERN. The electromagnetic force in the quantum twin flame energy line, right? So that's the focus of the twin flames, is the electromagnetic force as opposed to the strong, weak, or gravity force. So then the 15 cards came up, plus there were 9 cards that were dealt, which is the 24 of the Omega. 15 is the shadow or the devil. And then the Omega, which breaks up into OM of Om, and Ego, which comes up as the feminine version of ego. It also means to own, estate, great water, land, grounds, and property. But literally, ego means that female equivalent of the ego, but it also means equal. Equal sign, good, hot, and warm. And the mare, as in the donkey, the hybrid, right? The mare of the donkey and the horse. And the hybridization of the masculine and the feminine, of ego and ega. At 12:45 was creation, number 3. Here is the flower of life here, the expansion and the collective awakening, coloring our world, Terra. And number 2 of the High Priestess, the Divine Feminine, of the review and the reflection of the time out that's needed to heal in the purple moon, or that 0 point, perhaps by the mountains and the waters. And perhaps calla lilies may be coming up there as well as California. Letting go with the number 4, which is the Emperor, in time for release, with the blue-green feathers to the yellow-orange leaves as September creeps in. The Divine Feminine High Priestess between the Empress and the Emperor, the Mother and the Father, she the growth, he the control here, as opposed to, normally we hear he is the accelerator, she is the brake. Here it's flipping that, where she is the growth and he is the control. So in different aspects of life, they switch roles. They are each other. It becomes balanced overall. The killing off, the overgrowth, right? Because the masculine is that soldier who kills that which may kill you first, right? The sun helps things to grow, but it can also burn and kill and dry out, deplete the water of her abundance. And there's that reference to the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands as the feminine and the masculine. The 20 of Judgment, which is also the wake-up call. The cosmos mirrors you in the dodeca pentagon in a wake-up call. The 12 faces, 30 sides, and 20 points to make. A judgment call. Healing and pause to receive with 43, the 3 of Cups and coming together, touching the trunk of the tree before, there's the number 4 coming up again, the fall. Before hibernation. The wake-up call to come together to heal each other. So it's saying, take advantage of the life that's in the tree right now in your yard. Touch the tree, get that energy, connect to the earth to really feel that energy before they go into hibernation and their leaves fall to the ground in the fall. The wake-up call to come together to heal each other. The childhood within, the collective without. So healing your childhood within and healing the collective without. The 15 of the shadow, and then the 15 cards that came up. And at the bottom of all of this was the 14, which is the angel, right? It's the counterpart to the devil. The boundaries of the angel, that you need to set them daily. The key to the sun. The path through the hedges and through the castle, over hill, over dale, with patience and balance, and the 15 of the devil, which is overkill. The top of the pile here is the 8 of leadership and the dance between the masculine and feminine for dreams to come true. The dance of Atlas, leaving the wounded warrior behind, that victim mentality, with 3 keys in the left hand, with the flame in the right, answering the call to the light, up the spiral staircase, or in other words, the tunneling here of the spiral. For the hermit, perhaps to be on the beach with Big Bird and the seagulls, or eagles. The action and the wake-up call to the 11 of justice and alignment, with shells and breath and wings and lightening. The Queen of Swords, Big Bird, with priorities of the Delta, the Triangle, the Rainbow Chakra Bridge, the Shock God or the Sun God Bridge, the rainbow around the sun, which came up in the movie I just watched. I think I told you about that too, in the anorexic movie where she was being given a choice. Do you want to live or die? It's up to you, because if you wait any longer and don't do anything about it, you're going to die. So she fell asleep outside, and when she was waking up, she saw this huge rainbow come in all the way around the sun, which was confirming that the rainbow bridge has come full circle around the earth. The double rainbow within, like the arteries and the veins, in different directions, like the torus, spewing light, but erring to the side of the top or the light, with 49 and self-satisfaction, with family circles, coils, spin, spiral. All circles are broken. They are spirals, spiraling up. The 47 of the synchronicities of the Seven of Cups, having choices, variety, and heaven in your eyes, which can be confusing, but it also can just be Thanksgiving every day. Of the 36 and the Atlas weight of the world, and the inner child needing you to hear and know me. The 31 of the chaos of the light and the group, the transformation of that chaos, of both light and dark chaos, the control of the light and the dark, and holding space as the 29, being present in the moment with your gifts. The blue mother, holding space within, aligned with the blue star, the sapphire. And notice sapphire breaks up into, the sapphire is coming up as well as air conditioning, or the sap walks without the right angle, is the way sapphire breaks down. Sapphire is also the sappy higher, or the sap fire, the essence of life off the beaten path, right? Taking a different way. And there's that sap coming up from the tree as well. And that was at 111. And remember, the L is the right angle, right? At the wrong angle was coming up for sapphire. So at 113 is the Magician and the 13 of the transition and death, which also can be dark night of the soul and transformation, is the 24, the Omega. The end was coming up here, right? Because Omega is the last letter. The orange of the sacral chakra. Remember, we're coming full circle. We were keeping the collective sealed, right? Like the full rainbow being sealed around the earth. But they're just telling you that that was just to get you to that point, because the circle is never actually closed, because it's a spiral energy. The 24 of the orange and the sacral chakra, of connecting and attuning, to stretch and lunge to release those excess energies that are not needed, or stuck energies. The Queen of Wands, the Omega, the Lilith energy of that dark mother coming up to be released. The 54 of the Page of Swords, to the higher realms in magic. The message from the castle on a cloud, in that purple moon of 0 point. Got a rocket in my pocket. Cool boy. Comes from West Side Story. It's like delta-ing up, right? The delta is the triangle. The two rivers coming together is the delta. The delta-ing up of that triangle. But remember, the triangle in energy, because there's no such thing as straight lines, the triangle is actually curved lines coming together, which is that energy of that curved roof that's not straight, like you see in the India and the Orient. That triangle with curved lines of sine waves, because no lines are actually straight, they're sine waves or curves, with curved lines and sine waves, a wavy path to the sea of love. At 116, the Magician and sudden events, epiphanies or sexual exchange, on the whispering bench, in the rainbow around the world in 80 days. And 80 equals 8 when you reduce it. It was coming up as 8E8. One is equal to and congruent to the other, or equals being equal and congruent to the 38, because the E, if you flip it the other way, is the 3 of the 3-8 of the Queen of Cups, which is the Mary Magdalene energy, the divine feminine chakra system, whose light body is activated here, all lit up But the King of Cups is looking down, and he needs to detach from the drama to look up. Look up at the sky to see what you may see. You may actually see ships going by. As I saw a plane go by that didn't look like a plane to me. It was completely solid underneath and diamond shape, and it was not far in the sky from me. I saw the bottom of the ship. I don't know whose ship it was, but just saying. There is the sitting of the grass at sunrise, because remember, at sunrise, literally the sun is reflecting the earth beneath where you're sitting as well at the same time, right? Because it's at the horizon. The beacon of the 44, that Atlas energy of the mountain, but it's also the 4 of Cups of grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love, because the 44 is also in numerology the Atlas energy of the social worker and having the weight of the world on their shoulders. The beacon is coming up as shine on and light up as the waves beat on your mountainous walls, wanting into your energy of the generations, but also generating and lighting up, literally, like electricity, in strong force. Remember the strong force, weak force, the electromagnetic force, and the gravity force. Of the gravity, the gravity force, and it's coming up as like weakening. You have to light up in the strong force, where the gravity is then weakening to the electromagnetic quantum energy of the twin flames within the mountain, creating electricity, the city in the mountains. The force within is able to move mountains, because remember that came up the other day, whereas instead of Muhammad going to the mountain, it was saying, if Muhammad won't come to the mountain, well, the mountain then must come to Muhammad, regarding the masculine and the feminine. Right? If the feminine can't move the trunk of the tree, then he must make an effort as the tree or the mountain to stretch and bend himself, to reach out and make some kind of effort. It was coming up as Hercules or Hercules, which is her harvest, inspires Atlas to come. After all, 44 into 36 equals 0.8, the dance between the masculine and feminine, with 80 left over, okay, which is that trip around the world of the rainbow. And remember, 81 is the end of karma around the world in numerology in the divine triangle. That's where we reach age 81, and it's basically like at that point you can decide whether you want to stay or go. And if you stay, then you're open to really decide what you want to do, as opposed to being guided by a plan that you came here to do. So again, the city in the mountain and creating electricity with those waves, creating electricity by beating up against the walls of the mountain. The twin flame electromagnetic energy is coming up as the inside of the mountain, creating that electricity, then coming out the top of that light. The force within is able to move mountains. That is the twin flame energy. Hercules or Hercules inspires Atlas to come. There's a sexual insinuation there. And after all, 44 into 36 equals 0.8, with 80 left over. The 44 plus 36 also equals 80. 44 to 36 equals infinite 81. The end of karma around the world in 80 days, and then some. The leader with the flame at the top, and the key with an aura on the ground on this merry-go-round, and I'm actually reading it as merry-go-round. So then in the Nature's Whispers deck, we start with 33. There's that Christ vibration again, and being gentle to yourself, with the 27 of the Ace of Wands and that third energy, but also that inspiration of the twin flames. It's calling to maintain your childlike spirit and make a wish as the one of the magician. The molten volcano, but shy exterior. The Christ unity within is the boiling up, the inspiration, but there I'm getting the spiral there too, to swing and play, to cool off out of the heart, making magic in the emerald green And Mary Magdalene, buttercup yellow. So very much the green and yellows have been coming up all week as well. To make a wish and blow. So it's calling for being childlike and laughter, as well as this energy of the hot and the cold, of the masculine and the feminine. There's the energy of, the one who might blow because they're a molten volcano inside, but they have a shy exterior, just like a volcanic mountain. The Christ unity within the boiling up, inspired to swing and play and cool off out of the heart, making magic in the emerald green and Mary Magdalene buttercup yellow, make a wish and blow. At 136 is the magician and the atlas energy again of the weight of the world and carrying too much weight, in the breakthrough of being childlike with an open heart and free to leap into the butterflies and the ocean waves, the emerald order. So ORD also comes up as ORD, and then ER, of course, is urgency, a point of urgency, a point of origin or beginning, land or sword, a single word of urgency, a sequence or arrangement of urgency, a rule, function, front, chief, vanguard, or outside, or a number native bit width to the machine, right? So a number that's given to the machine that the machine is already templated to receive. The bone of contention is also coming up of order. Order is a bone of contention. So setting your intention with a wish and dance in a breakthrough, a completely new approach to just wish and jump and go, like don't think about it. A fresh approach to laughter, variety, choices, and synchronicities, heaven in your eyes, to see the children laughing and playing and be that energy. The 32 of the journey. On the journey, trust your own understanding, your own filter of the Knight of Cups and how you want to be love in a clear endeavor of being love. Their secret charm. It's like your secret weapon is that charm of being love. Whether island queen or snow princess, whether masked or not, whether you are the air as the air you breathe, or the air inheriting, hovering over the islands and the straits, or a part of the snow-capped village, Courmayeur, where vines are growing out of the crown. Okay, so there's that just confirmed the connection of Courmayeur, where the three Alps come together, not just the two, right? Because CERN is under the French-Swiss Alps, but Courmayeur includes the Italian Alps connection as well, where vines are growing out of the crown, referencing the UK. 9 cards, and the bottom of this is the 7 of amping up your positive emotions, like the little girl. And it's coming up at 147. That 4 to 7 is the sweet spot of numbers, of where to be, just airing to the side of the light, or the alkaline in the body. The 9 of the Hermit, the 7 of the Chariot, which the 9 is also the compassion and the endings and the collective consciousness. And at the top of this is the 10, which, oh, that's interesting. The bottom was 7 and the top was 10, and today is 710. Open your heart. So the little girl's coming up as amping up your positive emotions in the Chariot, and the top is coming up as opening up your heart, as growing up and becoming the big girl in the 10 of your destiny and high vibration. At 149 is the Magician and the Get Your Wish card, the self-satisfaction of the little fairy girl making ripples with the ancients standing by at the start, and then at the top, you're destined an opening of the heart of the Divine Masculine. And now we're backing into that, right? Learning by backing into something that's already been done, which is coming up as CERN 2, right? They're trying to back into how the world was created, basically, and figure that out, so they have that kind of power. But backing into this message here is the 38 of the Queen of Cups and her acceptance of love. She is the vines around the tree trunk of the masculine. And prior to that point was the 13 of the transition, the renewal of peace with a new baby, that birthing nestled in his tree with bottoms up, with frog hybrid standing by. And this is like this is after the masculine has learned to be something other than just what he is, like his pure breed, allowing something else into his family as far as templating DNA all that stuff. Perhaps, and that can even be through a child, like, right, wanting to keep the family pure and not breeding outside of your race or your religion, and now having a child who just did just that. So you're no more that pure family, and letting go of those restrictions within that family. Perhaps you'll notice a few flowers at the trunk of your tree that you hadn't seen before that are new. As we backing into the end, which is where you stood by at the start, is that little girl, the little fairy girl's making ripples in the water that just started and then rippled out around the world as you went through your stuff. But at the top, at the end, is the destined opening of the heart of the masculine, and we're backing into that. So how did we get from the little girl making ripples to the opening of the heart of the divine masculine? And just prior to the opening of the heart of the masculine is the Queen of Cups and her acceptance of love, as she is the vines around that trunk of the tree, which is he. And prior to that was the renewal of peace, with that new baby nestled in his tree, bottoms up, with the frog hybrid standing by. Perhaps you'll notice a few flowers at the trunk of your tree, or something new that had been birthed, if that hasn't happened to you already. Then the 45 of the empowerment happened prior to that, of the divine feminine after the purge. The 48 of the walking away and within, free, which happened before that, finding your hope and happiness. Prior to that was the 37 of unconditional love and the King of Cups, the ideal course of action to get there, from sea to shining sea, perhaps some grid work, and the 20 of the rose with a little fairy to higher ground and a wake-up call prior to the iguana, which I brought up in my read this past week. A new rose blossoming here regarding the aqua rose gold heart. The 24 of the Queen of Wands was prior to that, was the mermaid with wild hair on the seahorse, right, becoming the wild child, the Queen of Wands in the age of hair, coming into Aquarius and being your best self always, back to where you started from. With the 7 prior to that was the Chariot of the little fairy girl with the ancients to amplify your positive emotions. The wild child deep in her emotions, the 60s to 70s child, and blossoming in the 20s to the higher ground, to the 30s or 37 in their ideal course of action, perhaps a new phase in their life, to go against the crowd at 48 or in your 40s, with hope and happiness finding freedom again. Perhaps kids are somewhat self-reliant now, after empowerment a few years prior, and then a death and rebirth of your new heart, cradled at his roots, as the Queen of Cups Mary Magdalene accepts her place as the vines around his trunk, as the tree starts to bend and try to reach out to the vines and the flowers. The divine makes an effort. That's all he ever had to do. And then opened your heart as the high vibe swans come together at 2:05, the High Priestess and the Hierophant. So I went outside to look at my tree bottom outside to see if any new flowers came up, because I actually did plant some seeds at the beginning of the seasons which haven't come up, but I wasn't sure if they would come up or not with the lawnmowers and trying to keep it watered, because we have had a lot of heat, and I might have buried them too deeply, so maybe they'll come up next season. But I didn't see any new flowers, but I did meet this little red, which I didn't know what it was. First I thought it was a stink bug, so I looked it up. And he looked like a little monkey. And I posted a picture of him on my Instagram, because literally when I took a picture of him inside the tree, and he was so cute. He was like racing up the trunk of the tree, and it looked like he passed a hole in the tree where like maybe a chipmunk was in the hole and came out, because I saw these little eyes peep out, but it wasn't a chipmunk at all. The end of his legs had spots on them, and they looked like eyes, and the picture ended up looking like him reflecting his shadow exactly. You have to see the picture. It was so amazing. It was a really cool pic. It was actually a spotted lanternfly, which are, we're supposed to get rid of, because of course they're supposed to be really bad. But remember, do humans know best about how nature needs to change, or does nature know best on how nature is supposed to change? But, of course, communities are paranoid that they suck the sap out of the plants and the trees and secretes honeydew, which can then call the bees in. But I also heard that there's an issue with the heat, making the bees die. So this is nature's way of pulling the bees back in. It was a very blatant showing of how nature automatically balances the energies. It can also build up, promoting soot and mold or fungi that can cover the plants, but also they're more concerned about, that covering your car, which happens sometimes. And that happened before they showed up. That happens to me all the time with the plants around, even though I have nothing hanging over my car. And there was a Penn State research study that came up regarding that, how it destroys grapevines. And that's interesting too, because at the party today, because my daughter's dog is sick, my nephew is telling me, like what foods dogs really shouldn't eat, and one of those things is grapes. Very interesting, it's coming up again. So from the shaman dreams here came up the wood wives of the 64, which is the 10 of swords, the heart home of the 27 again, which is that ace of wands, and the lay of the land, the 34 of energetic exchange and arrows of love. The fly in the tree is that pain or bliss? The heart home, inspired by compassion, of ancestral wisdom of the lay of the land, and the energetic exchange, and the king of the mountain, which he was. I literally thought, when I watched this bug crawling up the trunk of the tree, he looked like the goat climbing the mountain, and he had these great long legs, and he looked like a little alien, because he's more standing up on his hind legs than he was on all fours. The spotted lanternfly was racing up the tree to get to the top, LOL, I wrote. And the crop circles were coming up and quote-unquote spin. Perhaps this is an ET friend. And I actually caught another bug. It wasn't like that one. It was a different one in my house. I thought there was some dirt up on a ledge above, the molding above my sink. And it wasn't. It was like an ET bug, watching me. I had taken a picture of him. And it's the same type of thing. I feel like there are like ET friends. And I really want to show you a picture. Let me see if I have that picture here. Let's see. All right, it's not on this one. I think it's in this one. It was so cool. Yep, here he is. Now check this out. And it's so funny too, because it looks like, what's his name? On Sesame Street, the blue guy, Cookie Monster. So this is the, I got to show you another picture of him first. All right, hold on. I want to show you a picture. All right, so here he is crawling up my tree. Okay, you see him? See how he looks like he's standing up on his hind legs, and these are his arms out here, but he's got like white dots on the end of his arms. They're really long. They come out to like here. Now, this is him. Now watch what happens. All right, so he gets to this hole in the tree as he's racing up, and there's an ant racing him at the same time. It was so funny. So now look at him. You see how he looks like he's looking right at you here? Well, look at the shadow here. I thought there was a chipmunk coming out of this hole right here, because look at the little eyes there. But check it out. It's literally an exact reflection of him. Here's the shadow of him over here, and he looks like a little monkey, doesn't he? He looks like a monkey ET, but these two eyes are actually his feet, but there's literally a shadow, an exact shadow of him right here. I mean, how cool is that? There's that two again. Look how cool. I love that. Looks like two Cookie Monsters, but red and white. So anyway, there's my cool pick of the day. So, like I said, the crop circles and spin were coming up. Perhaps an ET friend, a new baby in the forest was coming up here, as the 29 came up as being present in the moment of the horned cactus, which is kind of like the camel energy of being very independent. They don't need anybody else because they store things inside. They're present and resourceful, king of the hill, to reach the sun and see the crop circles below, because they were showing me like the energy of this bug crawling to the top of the tree, so they could actually see from an aerial view perhaps the markings in my grass, because I haven't even looked yet. yesterday I was noticing how much of my grass had died under the tree, even though I put grass seed out this season, and I have been putting water down there too. But I didn't even go out yet to see if there's any crop circle marks being shown to me. But that was the message they were giving me. The king of the hill, right, the bug crawling up the hill that looked like a goat climbing up the mountain, to reach the sun, to see what they could see, to see the crop circles below. Just like the blowfish that I told you about, who when they mate, they make this beautiful crop circle on the bottom of the ocean to draw their mate in. But they're just a simple little guy. There's no colors in them, like nobody would ever pay any attention to them. But he does this beautiful thing that for the one he loves. And, it's like a mandala. The bug with the sap, which just came up, and sucking as I just started using a straw this week. And I told you about the mother bonding, right? The anorexic who lay in her mother's arm drinking from a bottle in order to recover the bonding they never had because of the mother's issues when she was little. The 20 of the judgment, the wake-up call, and the feast of plenty, the choices and their consequences, the regarding the grape, the vine, the grapevine and the plants, and the bees attracted. And again, like I said, the bees being gone to the heat, because I haven't noticed them this week at all. But the bug then who arrives actually attracts the bees back. The 5 of the Hierophant in the closing of the door in completion, done the cycle of overkill, drought versus abundance, with plenty to share. The bug is resourceful, wake-up call to closing door to feast or famine mentality. And a lot of us have starvation wounds in our makeup as well, which references that that energy of bulimia and anorexia, right? Worrying that there won't be enough food. So you either eat too much and purge, or you starve yourself so nobody else can control, right? You're assuming you're going to get starved. So it's like retaining control of you, not letting anyone else do that to you, right? Taking back your sovereignty kind of energy, but it's a wound. The 6 of the lovers, the family, the community of the lovers, and the cosmic womb of the mother, the divine feminine. The 24 cards that came up for this deck, which again is that Omega, the Queen of Wands. At the bottom of all of that, the cards, the 24 cards, is the winter's dream of suffering and silence, right? In hibernation in the winter, when we don't have everything we need. The gestation period, and then at the top is the 24 of the galactic mushroom, the divine matrix. So from suffering and silence to the Queen of Wands of Omega, the dark night winter to the eye of the needle, the dream and the intent at 311 of Terra, and the 11 of justice and alignment and resonance, and the farther gate, the bold step into the truth of the 2 suns and the 2 gates, the one of the magician and the tidy house that's all buttoned up, and the 43 of coming together with overwhelm and overflow and plenty, with the 18 of the moon and the eye of the eagle who rises above after losing their way, coming back to integrity, and the twin flame hollow bone of teachability, right? Becoming that instrument hollow inside for source, love, creator to work through us. The 37 of the King of Cups and unconditional love, of the King of Cups sword and the confidence in his magic, and the 59 of the inner war of the wailing tree with reconciliations. The 57 of the 3 of swords and the unmarked trail, the revelation of the maze and the confusion of that maze and the pressure of separation, walking away and within in the 48, and the sky dancer's surrender to unwritten, sacred contract, sealed with a kiss. The divine feminine in the divine masculine ascending in the calm before the storm, purging and repairing the veil with forgiveness and tying the pages of the story back together, the binding, the articulation. The 42 of the 2 of Cups and the 1-to-1, the netcaster who has made preparations are now coming to fruition. The 26 of the Page of Wands and the gathering around of community with magic mushrooms and fairies In transition from dream thief of the 13 transition and refusing that call, right, because of those who are trying to keep you from staying awake and putting you back to sleep. The monkey, like the monkeys with the Wicked Witch, trying to keep you asleep. Or the journey of the 32 and the journey, the jeweled web of connectivity, the emerald order of the shadow, the 15, the Lilith, the dust devil, and the moving out of stag or masculine nation, the conquering of the storm or the conjuring up of the storm, the 61 of the risk and the whale song in a bubble, that portal, the black hole of entry point, resonating and taking a risk with the white hole though, right, where you can, one of the portals you can enter but you can never leave, right, because there's no return coming back through that portal, so you have to know your way back unless you're not coming back. So entering through the black hole, you can come but you may never leave through the black hole. The white may be the re-entry point, but that may be a challenge. The wall, remember the wall of the dark wall with the hole in it, is a different perspective from within of the prisoner and then from without of those seeing the prisoner within the hole. The 56 of the Two of Swords, and knowing that it's one way from her perspective, and the 58 of the Four of Swords in their 5D connection, in meditation and that 5D connect, is the vanishing mirror of the ego sublimation with the ega sublimation as well, right? Both have to let go of their ego. The 54 of the Page of Swords, crossing the wood bridge, that half of the tree trunk, the initiation to the galactic mushroom of the 24 and the Queen of Wands, perhaps our ET friends, the divine matrix of the Omega, the Om and the Ega of the divine feminine ego. The nut doesn't fall far from the tree. And through the journey of the shadow at 326 of the Mother Earth, Terra, Gaia, the 26 of the Page of Wands, who's excited, through the journey of the shadow of risk of the whale's song and the wailing tree of the prisoner within, the outside in perspective as opposed to what's inside the tree, imprisoned and looking out, breaking the two-way mirror of opposite perspectives to bridge to the other side, ideally meeting in the middle, but ultimately here, the masculine must step onto the bridge at least. At 333, he may call her a nut, but the nut doesn't fall far from the tree. She's come so far, and he must make an effort to meet her for them to reflect. The winter's dream and galactic coconut, the middle a blank slate, where the sky dancers surrender. At 337 of Terra and Earth, and the 37 of unconditional love of the King of Cups, walking away and within into the chariot. So it's like, Cinderella and the prince stepping into the pumpkin at 338, which is Jesus and Mary Magdalene, the 33 of the Christ and the 38 of the Queen of Cups. So really a beautiful story there. Hydra was coming up here too with Indigo Angel yesterday. Remember that and she talks a lot about the Georgia Guidestones, and so of course since the Guidestones got hit the other day, and then on 7/7 another pillar got hit by lightning, but she was bringing up there is a god in military, it's called the rods from God, but it's not necessarily an organic lightning strike, which can be, but it's also something that she showed the article that actually came up from the Cold War. I think she said, from the Cold War. It was a kind of military strike, learning how to strike from the satellites onto different places on the Earth. And she was getting there's supposed to be 23 more strikes or something like that, I think she was talking about, and she talks about the 3 days of light as well. So again, 7/6 was the bomb attack of the of the Georgia Guidestones, and then the 7-7 attack as well. That was the obelisk in Vigan City, Vigan. But of course you can look that up. So I don't know if there's any other hits that came up today. I haven't been looking online. But SE was definitely coming up in the read on the table, which for me is sudden events, but it's coming up as the southeast direction as well, because Indigo Angel was talking about, she'd gone to the Georgia Guidestones to do clearing there, and she did it from the southeast angle that got attacked. So there's definitely a connection there, and then I just went on a trip doing some grid work in the southeast of the United States. So definitely some stuff up in something else she said that was interesting is about this, Hydra is all about the serpent neck, the ancient or true origins, right? And that the serpent organ is the neck and the throat chakra. So then we get into the read on the table. All right, so here's the read on the table. So this was done at 7:42, which is that's when I cut and dealt the deck. And that's the Chariot and the 42 of the Two of Cups. And my throat's just getting parched right here. So let me just grab my water real quick. Sorry, making all that noise. It's my straw. It's hard to get the water out. All right, so 7:42 is the Chariot and the Two of Cups. And the Hermit's 9-inch nails were coming up, which also can reference Jesus on the cross. In the human adventure here, though. But the 9-inch nails were also coming up as kind of like, that Jesus karma coming back to the southeast corner. And again, the Philippines of the obelisk on 7-7, and then 7-5, of course, was the start of CERN back on. And the energies that were coming up in the read, one of them was literally to hit. So not only did SE of the sudden events come up, but FOUTE came up in the headline, which means to tease, to mock, or to hit. And also to do, to screw around with, to tinker, and to have sex with as well. But it's kind of like, to screw somebody over. And those energies were coming up in the code line. So also at 7:52, which is the Chariot and the Queen of Swords, F orbs came up, which there's that F again of, like screwing around with someone, of the F word. And orbs also, besides thoughts and words, it literally means blind men and orphans. And it's also or BS. So it's like screwing over the blind men, the men who are blind, right, that don't see, right? I was blind, but now I see type of energy. And then I completed at 8:07, which is the major arcana of the solar deity or the sun, reflection of the hermit, the star, the shadow, which is the devil, alchemy, which is the temperance card, and higher self. So a lot of major arcanas came up here. Before the read, the emperor or reason also came up, and after the read, the starseed, which is the fool, and strength also came up. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 altogether. There were 3 swords, 1 cup, 1 pentacle, and that was it. So there were no wands in the main cards of this read, and it was coming up 311, which I think 311 came up in the Times as well on one of these pages. And then within the read, there were no court cards in the read, except for the 9 of Pentacles, which is not a court card, but it is the sovereign energy. And after the read was the King of Wands, the man of passion. Before the read is the Page of Cups and the Page of Swords, and pick up sticks was also coming up here. To mock, to screw over, to hit the southeast, the madmen, and the 4. And remember, the Georgia Guidestones have that 4 direction type of symbology. the reflection to the nth degree in a show of power up in the human adventure of the hermit's 9-inch nails. And that can come up as the grandmother too, right, who digs their nails into you, protecting the nest, right, the hermit and their mother, like Jesus and Mother Mary type of energy coming up. So at 8:07, I finished clarifying, and the code line was all about adventure. There were no numbers on the code line here, and it was all about reflection to the nth degree. And again, those 9-inch nails, the show of power up, the grandmother, the man, the contents of a man, the human experience of the zero, which is the human with the God energy within, and the foolishness of the madman, the southeast, the sudden events, to see, right? I was blind, but now I see. The expanding and contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting instead. The sudden event of the moral man reflects to the nth degree the show of power up of the human condition. Foster care was also coming up, or family court. The football club or Canadian forces, being crazy, mad, or silly. Complete or moral man, reflecting or hermiting to the nth degree. The baby, the nest, the boy, girl, or child in an adventure. The feminine sees the fool in the moral man's reflection to the nth degree, nesting or childish adventure. Also reflection in the southeast. And the energy of the word te, which means to see, understand, perceive, and hear. The wood, the tree, yourself, the stone. To behave, the water, the paternal aunt. The yam, under, to compact or compress. Tasting, to swell, yourself, hot, warm, and ardent, hot-tempered, affectionate. Comfortable, to throw away, here and now. The mouth, the door, towards and during. To behave, quiet, foot, to yourself, until, naked, however, now, roadway, only, solely, merely, crazy affections, silly to see, the hermit to the nth degree, and the grandmother, or the man on a human adventure. At 8:32, which is the strength card, the manifestation of dreams, the dance, and the 32 of the journey, we start with the 4 of Swords reversed. And beneath that is the 5 of Pentacles reversed, the Page of Cups upright, the Reason or the Emperor reversed, the 6 of Swords upright of Peace, and the Page of Swords upright here. So it's right here. The top card is that 4 of Swords with the mini cards on top over here. And so recovering from exile, the Page of Cups, perhaps without reason. Moving to peace, or maybe feeling like they don't need to give an excuse. The Page of Swords waking up or returning from break, as the hermit's coming out with love in their heart, out of control, or the Emperor stepping down for peaceful message, or unable to rest, or awake and coming out. Taking a load off, the King of Pentacles reversed, with the Sovereign upright or independent child, perhaps with issues at work. With the Page of Pentacles taking too long to inspect, or looking at every detail. With the Sovereign upright, with bad memories of the Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongue or lashing out, perhaps at them. At 10:33 of the destiny of that Christ energy and unity consciousness, the post-war heartbreak, separation, and the Page of Pentacles upright, the student or opportunity to recover from exile, injury, or illness. With the Page of Cups upright and that sweet innocent love, grieving loss or regret, of the Queen of Cups upright and the Knight of Wands reversed, or that player energy with the 3 of Pentacles reversed as well, with issues at work. Perhaps getting clothes wet, or giddy up, on the run from the rehab or mental hospital perhaps, depressed post-war with PTSD, falling out or a negative past, or weak and in need of strength, courage, and good health. The heat is on, or getting a pet groomed, or perhaps taking the pet to the vet, as Aquarius reversed, Leo reversed, and Aries reversed here, and this could be the one. Beneath it, true love. And by the way, the movie that came up was Barefoot last night, or perhaps the night before even. Flirting, showing off, the Page of Pentacles upright, surrendering to bad influence, the King of Swords reversed, in downturn, and things not going their way, the Lovers reversed, perhaps without affection, or perhaps a Gemini as well. Perhaps a guy who's been sleeping around and then dumping them. The King of Swords reversed, Libra reversed, Gemini reversed, perhaps with 1 girl, 3 girls, or 2 girls dumped. No more being watched, or perhaps someone who just has women in every area of his life. It's always just been women, 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 like too many girls in their life. But no more being watched, or women of all ages, or juggling, always getting attention and his way, and now awakening. With personal growth in the chariot of the feminine within the masculine ascending, and then the music of the 32 and the journey and resonance. With peace at night but weak, with the weight of the world and heartbreak or separation, disappointment perhaps, and coming clean, cleaning up the actor space, the Ace of Cups, a big new love of the King of Cups upright being watched over. The elephant drowning, supporting the King of Cups, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs to follow, blue eyes sets perhaps. The King of Cups in love and cleaning up his act, as the King of Cups awoke with issues at work, in need of strength to stop juggling and grow up. The Devil is upright with innocent one, and moving forward after this read is the energy of the King of Pentacles reversed at 11:25, of aligning with justice and the Knight of Wands. The King of Pentacles reversed ungrounded, as the King of Wands, with Sagittarius in their chart, perhaps takes a leap of faith toward him, awakening to juggling or their daily routine, without a choice, without their tools, or manipulation being exposed, and the Knight of Pentacles reversed their stubbornness, or their inability to function due to new passion, from justice, fighting, to getting their ducks in a row, in disconnect or distance from third party with the truth of breaking up or lack of affection, coming clean or getting clean, cleaning up or ending a cycle of family unhappiness in a bold move with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, dysfunctional family, business, or community, or cleaning up to the Ten of Cups reversed family. And it's like dealing with one family, the Ten of Cups reversed, and then going next, getting back in the car and driving to the Ten of Pentacles reversed family with the truth. It's like coming out, doing it one family at a time. And then the recent past is the Ten of Swords upright with the King of Cups upright, on a break, taking a rest, ending pain or a painful ending or betrayal, and the Page of Wands reversed, present to an announcement or call, third party, feeling unworthy and unable to walk away, or uncomfortable with emotions or dealing with them, with the Ten of Swords and bleeding out, dumping a load, burden, or responsibilities with good news and leading the way, with the Page of Swords stepping up to the plate to take the swords out one at a time at 11:35, which is justice and the wounded warrior. At 11:36 then, the Atlas energy, right, leaving that victim energy behind, with Aquarius upright and the foundation being the Star reversed, depressed or arrogant, the Queen of Swords talking to Pisces reversed, or a counselor, perhaps who's getting their secrets. The Hierophant upright and the Queen of Wands reversed, holding on to savings. And guy, it's like holding on to their savings of 4 of Pentacles, as well as the guy who makes 8, not wanting to let go of the money or stability. It's like the feminine energy said, my money's my money and his money is my money. That's coming up here. But they could be divorcing. The central energy of the solar deity and the sunshine, the happiness, energy, vacation, and kids. The King of Wands upright in separation from the devil or temptation, or the King of Pentacles reversed, with a secret keeper who's telling their secrets now. The secret passion or loss of integrity, with Pisces reversed with new information about Capricorn exposed, or swearing in court. The challenge being the Hermit upright after depression and pain exposed, the Hermit divine feminine completely authentic in healing, or a heated exchange received a big offer to perform juggling or balancing act, perhaps now dissatisfied, alone without lover, and no options. No physical reunion with harsh truth out, or sex in the woods, with new passion burning the past, or third party present with the truth, about a weak marriage or or committed, and that can be literally committed to an institution, and that can be committing a parent to an institution as well. The King of Swords reversed to reaping rewards of the Empress upright after sudden events, epiphanies, or sexual exchange, with the wounded warrior defending their wounds or licking their wounds, or defensive guard, the King of Cups reversed. And now crowning is the Two of Cups reversed, the disconnect or distance to patience, or I want to say dumping. So somebody may be dealing with the Two of Cups reversed and disconnect or distance, not seeing eye to eye or face to face, losing patience, or perhaps someone's losing their temper. But I'm also getting the need to go deeper. After a death or in near-death experience, dead tired in the never-ending story of the Ten of Cups reversed and their unhappiness, and the journeyman leaving now. With the Hermit to bring good news, the Page of Cups receiving a big offer from the King of Cups upright, with Sag and Scorpio reversed with Virgo upright, Pisces 2, and perhaps the King of Cups paying the Page of Cups to take care of the old man, or old man to take care of the child, or each other. The Magician reversed, insecure while recovering, no more inspecting every inch of a hostage before their release. The Hermit and the Queen of Cups upright, and the injustice of the Empress with the Queen of Pentacles, or Libra reversed between Virgo, Queen of Cups, and Taurus, Queen of Pentacles, reaping rewards of karmic tie, or sex in the chair and the swing, or a swinger, uncomfortable with emotions they've been avoiding, as the Queen of Pentacles receiving big love offer from a slowdown or twist of fate, with the King of Cups reversed and the Knight of Wands reversed, and the Knight of Cups reversed, or dysfunctional father with kids, perhaps after a sudden jealous rage of the Knight of Pentacles reversed, Taurus, or avoiding disaster with them, unable to sleep and rising above, or awakening and coming out insecure without tools to manifest, or manipulative with emotional deficit perhaps. And after a sudden event, epiphany or sexual exchange, soon for the twins here is the shadow in a heated exchange at 11:59, which is literally the 11th hour, the minute before midnight, getting the message of the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community of dysfunction or loss, exposed on vacation with Divine Feminine marching to the beat of her own drum. Or there could be Leo and Pisces kids being free to run wild, naked perhaps, with the Queen of Wands reversed defensive with the Page of Wands reversed, or Pisces or Divine Feminine getting back in with the Page of Wands reversed Leo and the Queen of Wands reversed, who's there. She could be an Aries. Page of Wands reversed could be Leo. Queen of Wands reversed could be an Aries. And this Pisces or Divine Feminine can be getting in between the two of them, perhaps to break them up fighting, and that can even be pets as well. Or all running wild or naked, free to do whatever they want. At 12:03, the Hanging Man, oh, I don't know why this is not charging. Hopefully I don't run out, guys. I just readjusted it a little bit. Hopefully it's charging now. Okay. So Aries reversed, Capricorn upright, Leo upright, Pisces upright, Aries upright, perhaps a kid's party, or the Emperor reversed stepped down to take them on vacation or a class trip or camp. Twin flames are seeing themselves as alchemy reversed, perhaps losing patience or their temper with a fallen angel, or someone in their energy is. The King of Swords reversed, betrayal or ending pain in a painful end or surgery here, and the wounded warrior imprisoned. The Knight of Swords reversed, dumping multiple loads, emotional attachments, and making another sad, presenting the truth to end the nightmare and stress. The King of Swords reversed and the Knight of Swords reversed, and the wounded warrior perhaps between them, with the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and 10 of Swords all upright here, which is the worst case scenario. Separation coming up, reconciliation, and then calling in your soulmate, worth waiting for, trust, and very soon. And around the twins is the higher self reversed, and a secret passion of standing up for oneself. 2, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, stubborn block in a disconnect or at a distance. And the energy of the Chariot in a bold move, driving at night, unfair to have them let them back in, so someone's not happy, somebody else who's with them is letting them back in. Pisces reversed and Cancer upright. And the block is the 9 of Pentacles, sovereign or single white female, receiving passionate offer from the Page of Cups that sets them free, with adventure, but even more so, spirit, forgiveness, and happy ending. An energetic exchange reversed, or heated exchange, perhaps delay after delay. The Grim Reaper is tired of grim, or tired of cross-dressing, or tired of back and forth, or just dead tired, and tired of that. Stormy weather, separation, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, refusing to move or work. The Empress upright, resisting the wounded warrior who's defensive, King of Cups reversed. Pisces or Capricorn, ignoring offer but awake to it, or bored with own ego or their own bright ideas. Manipulator, resistant, and the King of Cups reversed, Knight of Wands reversed, and Knight of Cups reversed may have jealous tendencies. The truth is out of a fool free due to a hit to the crown. Big flame of the King of Wands shaman in pursuit of happiness, leading up to Lion's Gate. The King of Wands in need of courage, the cowardly lion coming up here. At 12:18, the Hanging Man and the Moon, and then at 12:25, the Hanging Man and the Knight of Wands. As the Hermit is coming out of the Mary Magdalene cave, the Page of Cups, the Page of Cups to the Emperor reversed, finding peaceful travels, with the Page of Swords reversed with negative self-talk or his negative self-talk to rise above, depressed, losing patience without higher self, in great pain and exposed, challenged by reflection or hermit and the shadow being independent or single. In disconnect or distance, in separation or heartbroken, disappointment, and presenting the truth to the fool who's free to leap into a new passion with the King of Wands upright, needing the strength to fight for what they want. Or when they feel weak or sick of competing, right, needing the strength to fight for what they want. Off break in pain with the King of Cups, depressed or needing to heal and get some sun, and challenged by the Hermit and a breakup or distance and losing patience with the Shadow or Capricorn and their secret passion, or fallen angel with lack of integrity, and the Sovereign who's alone and heartbroken. And cake came up. I forgot about this part. So, okay, the race driver who was on David Letterman was Lewis Hamilton. And again, the race car and the distance are very appropriate together, the way they came up. At 12:42 is the Hanging Man and the Two of Cups, all alone in her time of need, because he's racing and pacing and plotting the course. He's fighting and biting and riding on his horse. He's going the distance, going for speed, right? She's all alone in her time of need. No trophy, no flowers, no flashbulbs, no wine. He's haunted by something he cannot define. Bow-shaking earthquakes, quarks of doubt and remorse, assail him, impale him with monster truck force. She's hoping in time that her memories will fade, and he thinking of someone for whom he still burns, going the distance. So I paraphrased a little bit there. I didn't write all the words down, but that's basically the song that was coming up here. At 12:49, which is the Hanging Man and the Nine of Cups of self-satisfaction. Going the distance, and that was at 12:49 a.m., and that was actually going into the 10th, which is today. Going the distance, going for speed. She's all alone in her time of need. All right, so, Melinda Gates came up too with David Letterman then too. All right, you guys, I'm going to just pull a few cards. It's already 1:24. It was just 1:24:01, which is that 24 of Omega again. And perhaps just a quick few cards. I'm going to do the energy deck to make it simple, and then the animal deck. So what is our takeaway from the messages today, which were very beautiful? It's very much about unions coming together. and going the distance. All right, from the energy deck. Taking a breath. All right, cornucopia. True abundance. The 11 of resonance, alignment, truth, and balance, and the sun shining through the woods. And the third chakra, Archangel Metatron, as I did the Metatron deck today as well, with the Page of Cups, which is the 40 here, of pure, innocent love and abundance. Look at that, you guys. Wow. Pure, innocent love and abundance and balance. The 22 of the Fool's Journey, the 11, 22, and the innocence of Metatron, and that third eye there. Wow. Wow. That's the next card, you guys. The being present in the moment. And I'm getting the gifts as well. The abundance of thanksgiving every day and alignment of truth and justice with that pure innocence of love and that open third eye. And look at that energy of Metatron. It's beautiful. The balance of the yin and the yang and the Fool's Journey of that open heart and a leap of faith to take a step back and see the big picture of the world as it is, your planet Earth, and being present to it. And look what the next card is, you guys. This is that higher love, the 14 of that patience, balance, and that higher love. And appreciation for your shadow side. There's the angel and the devil, the light and the dark. Even having gratitude and appreciation for the shadow side, whether it's yourself or a third party. Okay, there's your twin flame journey, the healing of the broken heart. The 9 of the Hermit, the one and the all for one and one for all. And healing that broken heart. And the family of the world. The 4, and there's the 4 corners of the world coming up. This is coming up as that heaven on earth type of energy, and there's the rainbow being confirmed, coming full circle around the world. Look at that. The bottom of the deck is the third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, which is the solar plexus of confidence and shining your light. The 37 of unconditional love of the King of Cups. And there's the contract that's done, the 6 of the love, family, and community, and the Declaration of Independence coming up here. The lovers, love, family, and also the Statue of Liberty comes up. Remember, because that was my guidance I got a couple of years back, was the angels at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty as the Pleiadian ship comes in. So there's that energy of the Declaration of Independence, which I'm in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, the love, family, and community, and the contract that keeps coming up as blank, that it's your chance to write it, right? And be confident in your magic with the solar plexus and unconditional love, and the unconditionally loving man. And then we're going to pull from the animal deck as well, with the kitty cat, and there's the peacock on the bottom. Look at just that energy's coming up. That's like the Metatron energy we just saw. Look at the light. It's just like the light is so bright. The release of the 13 and the big transition, the transformation. And even though I didn't pull this, and there's a butterfly in there too with the white rose. Everything's getting purified, even the rose and the butterfly. And it's time to release the past and move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. As the cow is looking in, he cracks me up. All right, so let's shuffle this and see what actually wants to come out for you guys. The hybridization energy is interesting, and I guess I'm a good example of that because as far as I know, we always had a Jewish background. I wasn't raised religiously, but until about 10 years ago, we found out that my grandfather, my father's father, wasn't our biological grandfather, and that my biological grandfather was Russian Orthodox. So, you know, there's that hybridization energy too, right? So I do know I've I have English and German and a lot of Polish in my background, which there's a lot of starvation background there. But I also have this Russian side of my DNA that I know very little about. So, actually I was coming up with my brother because he probably looks the most Russian in my family. All right, let's see here. So from this animal deck, what do we need to know? What's our takeaway from the reading today? All right, unity. There's your unity consciousness. I love the polar bear. And he reminds me of my daughter's dog who's sicky right now. Aww. The polar bear. Embrace this time of deep spiritual growth. You may feel called to act as a mentor, find a new teacher, or spend time with others who are also on a sacred path. It's about coming together, and 5, which is freedom, change, and expansion. But there's four cards, again, the 4 corners of the world coming up. The Queen of Summer of compassionate, loving, giving, and psychic. The Swan. It's a time of deep emotions and heightened intuition that you can trust completely. Be mindful you don't ignore your own needs while caring for others. And look how white the energy is after we got that white rose and that other energy came up. And then the 3rd card is the White Owl. Look at that, guys. The High Priestess of the 2 and the Owl. This is a time to pause and reflect, not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. And then the 4th card is where the color comes in, but notice the white flowers as well. The 3 of Summer, and the hummingbird, which kept coming up in the animal cards that I was pulling. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as an engagement, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. And those are the 4 that came up all together. So really pure energies there. Look at that. And there's like a contract, the Declaration of Independence coming up too. And there's the 2 pillars of Atlas and Hercules. And there's the butterfly and the sliver of the moon, as we're coming up on the full moon actually. And both of them have the sliver of the moon right there. Very interesting, as the new moon is at the end of the month. We have the full moon, I think, is the 13th, and then the 30th, I think, is the new moon. So there's this big purification that's happening right now of the polar bear, of unity, of the swan, in heightened intuition, and then the wisdom of the owl, and the coming together of the birds in color, the variety, the hummingbird, which is also the hummingbird in the animal deck that kept coming up today, was the, I don't know if it's still at the bottom of the deck. Let me show you, because it kept coming up when I was pulling these, the wild unknown animal spirit. Here's the hummingbird. So this kept coming up, and I wanted you to see it. You see how that high vibe energy of the vibration of their wings is clearing the dark out of here. So there's that energy coming up as these cards as well. You know, really clearing the energy by keeping it high vibe in the kind of things that they talk about, which I was noticing actually at the party today. It was really positive, high vibration energy. Everybody was being very loving, and I felt very talkative today actually, but it was all very sweet and loving. There's lots of beautiful little children there. And then the next card that's coming up is the tug of war of the dogs. And I was dealing with 2 dogs today because we went to see someone's house after the party that we hadn't seen yet, and they had 2 dogs at the house, but also my daughter's dog is sick, so I'm not sure yet what's going on with them because I haven't been eating for a couple days. So send lots of love to Teddy Bear. The collie dog is coming up here. The current path isn't leading you towards the happiest possible outcome. So why not change it? Always maintain integrity and compassion, but be alert to the hidden agenda of others. Oh, there's so much animals here. The cat and the panda bear. I'm not going to read all these, but you can if you want. The battery still looks like it's struggling. I don't know why, because everything's plugged in right, but my plug might not be working right. So you know why if I go out. So the bottom of the deck here is the King of Spring, inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise. The King. So Leo is coming up in Lionsgate, the Katanga Lion. Now's your moment to step up into a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful so long as you stay focused upon the big picture. But that was the underlying energy, which is going away, along with the gazelle. So the graceful gazelle and the king of the jungle moving into this energy of this purity here, and then the coming together in this really high vibration energy of when you do come together, purify, purify, purify while alone or one-on-one. There's also purification of a contract right there, the Declaration of Independence, and the pillars right here. I'm getting France too, right, with the Statue of Liberty over in France and the river, the Seine. And then again, even when you're alone and it's quiet, the energy of purification, so when you come together, it's only really high vibe energy that you're spreading around the world. That's really beautiful energy. And that's all I need to give you then. So we're all set. And I didn't die yet. My video anyway. Okay. So yeah, really, really good messages there. Remember your water, because you don't feel good if you're not hydrated. And we need a lot of water to connect with our abilities, as well as getting plenty of rest so you feel good as well. And joy in nature. Remember laughter and be like a child. And rise and be love, love and rise. And I'll see you soon. Have an amazing day, you guys. Bye.